Welcome to Home's Room. Just like Homeroom, we start off our day getting together with our homies, swapping stories, even a little kiss and tell action. This podcast contains language not suitable for younger listeners, topics about sex and mental health. Discretion is advised. Our views are our own. Let class begin.
So as a writer, for me, art is kind of important when it comes to selling books because your cover is the most important thing. So, it's hard to decide, what I want the cover to look like sometimes. So like for you, what goes into the, concept of your album art? Is it the song and then the art, or the art and then the song? Like how do you decide, as a musician, what imagery you want to use?
Yeah, that's really cool. I like being just like you. I like being creative in all the processes, So when you're first starting out, and maybe if you're really young, it might depend on your budget. These days, you can do a lot more with a lot less, which is really cool. I try to just link it with the imagery of whatever I'm feeling, man. I mean, honestly, I think you have to be really honest, which is funny because sometimes with album art, like it doesn't matter. I could take a picture of an orange and somebody would be like, wow, that's cool. But,
Yeah.
I tried to early on. It was like mountains from, trips I'd taken because I was just a dude from Kansas, and I got I was a kid from Kansas, and I got the opportunity to go see these beautiful places I didn't even know existed. And so putting that as the image of my music, I felt kind of set the tone. And that felt really good for me, like I wanted to show that part of me. And then now when thinking about it, I do think it probably sets the tone when people play that, they might feel a little bit of that. If they've ever seen mountains like that or seen forestry like that, they might feel kind of, I would hope, fall into that environment. And then it's also like, I like collaborating with cool people. Like I really do. And whenever you meet talented friends, it is so cool. Like the last images I took, Brenna Cranswick is a photographer out here, and she took those, and we were in a cave. We did a bunch of shooting before, but she was like, let's go to this cave. And she threw dirt on me for like an hour, dude. And that's dirt with like definitely some guano in it or whatever. So, which you're barely not supposed to do, but, but man, they turned out so cool, and it was so fun. And it was cool seeing her really proud of her work, but I was like blown away, dude. I was like, this is the coolest picture of me ever. That's just it. And it felt cool, and it felt great, and it set a vibe. And I guess I just want to feel good about it. If I'm collaborating, I want that artist to feel really good about it too. That's important because I just want to know that they've stretched themselves a little bit because I put all this work into music. I want to know that they're trying to do that too. And that means you got to find somebody who kind of cares about what you do. And Brenna really cared about my music, so she was willing to put in the extra hours and do it for free. Shout out Brenna. And make something really cool, man. And I think with art for a book or something, it's your statement. It's what's catching the eye of the person. So put in some work for it, and put in some work, but don't beat yourself up about it, because at the end of the day, if you did some good work, people will check it out too.
Yeah. I will say, number one, your pictures are always good. I don't think I've seen you in a bad picture. And for the people that hopefully we're going to use an image of you for the post on Instagram for some promo for this episode. But I will say that this is one good looking motherfucker, and I can tell you that specifically because I remember being at a bar. And this girl walking up pushed past me, grabbed your face, and said, "Oh my God, you're fucking gorgeous." And I was just like, ouch. I'm going to turn around and walk the other way.
I don't remember that story.
See, it happens so much. This man doesn't even remember.
Yeah, too much. Back in the day, dude, it was good. Nah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
well,
that was one of those nights where you
forever.
made me forever. Yeah. Forever. Love you, babe.
Yeah.
So I just remember that was one of those nights where you bought those 4 shots of Jack, in doubles, and it was like two girls and me and you. And I was like, man, I don't want to be drinking this Jack with these random girls, and you're trying to talk to one, and I'm just trying to dodge the other.
I have no idea who these people are, but I hope they're listening because that'd be really cool. Yeah, back in the day was fun, man. I wonder what bar that was. Was that bar that like for like months they charged like 25 cents for drinks? Because that was weird. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was that place,
Okay.
man. It was
That
like
was, 'cause that
50
was
cent,
kinda
it was
by
50-cent wells.
Yes, that was dangerous. That was terrible, and they closed. But you know,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was dangerous, but it was fun. We had plenty of night there. I think it was good.
yeah. Oh yeah, spent like $5.
I think, yeah, right. And you got hammered.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Holmes Room is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor by Spotify is a total package podcast tool from getting started to distribution, in-app editing, and much more. They even help you monetize your podcast. All of that for free. With a web and mobile-based app, recording anywhere on anything is a breeze. Get your voice heard with Anchor by Spotify.
What's on the artist thing? Like I said, we're gonna navigate around all of this stuff because we're
dude.
homies, and you know that's what this is. This is Holmes Room with a homie. So
I love it.
One of the things I want to ask is what's one thing that you want every artist out there to know?
Oh damn, that's brutal. I love it though. I do think about this a lot because I think it's interesting too as you get older and you have, what are you going to pass down if you have kids? I think about that a lot for some odd reason. Like, okay, I'm doing this art, and what are you going to say to them if they start doing art someday? Which I don't have kids, so, but I think the most important thing is probably forward motion, kind of what we talked about earlier. Just create. And sometimes I need to tell that to myself just so everybody knows. Just create, man. Just create and do it with passion and heart, and also have some fun. Like, pour your soul out into it, but have some fun too, and laugh at the end of the day. And your art will really connect you to a lot of people, so take care of that too. I think that's important. But just do, man. Just do and go. And if you feel like painting, just paint. And if you only have a pencil, just do it. I see a lot of people who limit themselves, and I hope this is less and less these days, but they're like, oh, I don't have the nice studio equipment. And it's like, just figure something out, dude. Whenever I got my first guitar, I was 16, and I sold my stuff. I sold whatever I could find in my room, which was like CDs. And then I sold my friend's stuff. Like, he was down to sell his stuff so I could get a guitar. And we got like $50 together, and I got a broken guitar, and it was perfect. So like, if I can do that and we were really poor, you can definitely do it too. And I think a lot of artists say that to inspire others, but it's very, very true. So just figure out a way to do. And if you can't record the song the way you want it right now, just make something, write it down, record it in some way, start meeting people, like forward motion, because you'll find a way. It might take time. Kind of like you in writing books. Like, that probably took a lot of time, dude. That probably took, I don't know, years. I guess you said you had the characters. So it's like, it takes time and patience. And then, a friend of mine who now directs, some movies and stuff, David Guttell, who I went to high school with in California, before I met you. He always says it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think that's great advice as well, because no matter how fast, you may make it, or you may get that cool show you wanted, or whatever it may be, like, it's still a marathon. And the people who put in the work and just love what they do and keep writing, keep whatever it may be, keep painting, like, you're doing what you love, and just keep doing it. Don't quit just because it didn't, you didn't see the 5,000 people in front of you like you thought, or something like that. Just keep cruising. I think everybody needs to hear those pieces of advice. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, number one, thanks for attending the TED Talk, Mr. KENZI over here,
Got you
us
guys
with some hard facts. I think that, again, you're right, and I've always respected your ability to, create. And I remember, trying to take a picture of a willow tree for one of your albums, just so I could like help you, because
Oh, I
I
remember
wanted to
that.
be a part of your journey.
Yeah, that was
And
sweet.
yeah, I remember going to a backyard concert with you, and like listening to your music just to be there to support you. And I think that like you said, a good group of like people that are support you. You don't need like 50 people to support you. You just need like one or two people, and like lean into them. You know don't chalk them up as
Dude,
like just people
yeah.
that are here. And I think for me, one of the big
Hmm.
things about creating that I think, is like you said, forward progress, but like there's going to be bad days and there's going to be good days. There's going to be days where you can't specifically pick up the pen, you can't pick up the paper, but like don't give up on that moment. You can come back to it. But every day you say
Yeah.
tomorrow's never going to come. So like you say tomorrow, and then
Woo.
tomorrow do
Yeah.
it, jump on it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Damn. Matt dropping the mic, preaching over here too. I love it, man. Honestly, oh, dude, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is tempting, and you'll succumb to that. You will, like, you'll be lazy. You'll be lazy, and you'll go like 3 months without doing shit, and
Yeah.
like that's gonna happen. But try to fight that. I think that's the important part. And
Yeah.
like, dude, also just get really creative, man. Like if you want people to see your work and stuff, like get creative. Because one thing that I want to tell like anybody who maybe listen that makes music is the first way I got people to listen to my music was by tricking them, because I legitimately, instead, because everybody else was playing shows and I didn't know how to book shows. So what I did was I booked a show at my house, and I booked people who play music, but then I included myself in the bill, which is a list of people playing. So I tricked everybody in the room into having to listen to me and what I was experimenting with and doing. And then it worked. Suddenly people were like, wow, I really like this. And I did like, I don't know, 3 house shows or 4 or something. And I invited like 5 people. I don't know, man. But get creative. If you're writing a book, figure out how to get some people to read it, how to get them intrigued, how to present it in a unique way. Like there's always something. If you want it bad enough, like you'll figure out something. And I love that, dude. That's where the fun is too, because you're gonna remember those stories. So just have fun with it.
I mean, I think that is like Hustler 101. Like, hey, here's the bait and switch. I'm going to slide myself right in here. And, like, I think that it also takes a certain level of like hustler mentality, and like knowing that like you're not going to give up on yourself. So nothing else fucking matters.
Yeah.
Do not give up on yourself, because at the end of the day, if you give up on you, of course, everybody else will. If you stay hungry, stay fighting, stay on it, somebody somewhere will recognize it and try and help you out when you need it.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love it.
What's one thing that you struggle with as an artist the most?
Oh man, that then changes over time. Nowadays I struggle. I mean, like right now, I think I'm struggling. Like, oh man, what am I gonna write about? I think when if you're in your teens and your early 20s, there's a lot of passion in you, and there's still passion. Like you have passion, but it's almost different. I don't know if you feel that way, but it's like a different, more like subdued adult passion, even though you still are fiery inside.
I can vibe with that. I can feel that.
But and when you're 16, you're just like, oh, crying because somebody broke up with you or whatever, and then you write a song, or maybe you're impassioned about something else, and it feels so easy to just like pour out. And maybe it's just me, but as I've gotten older, it takes a little more discipline and labor, but also you start to think more, like, what do you want to write about? Like, what do you want to say? And I think that's an important question to ask, and it has to kind of come naturally. For me, it has to feel really genuine and natural if I'm writing about something. Like I don't want to just be like, well, I really care about this cause, so I'm going to write about it. It's like, well, I don't know. It's got to be kind of on my heart. It's got to be, come from the soul a little bit personally. So my struggle is that discipline. I've got to get that back, which I've been doing a little writing. You didn't know that, but doing something different. And
I did not know that.
Yeah, man, we can talk about that. So, but I just want to be able to say, like, I love the songs that I have, man, and I connect to them, and I think you just want to say something that feels very real and really dives in. which whatever that means, I don't know, but I want to push myself a little bit to be a little more vulnerable and to write what I've been wanting to write and make the music I've been, because now I can record it. I have the capability for the most part to make what I want to make. So now I got to sit down and put in those hours we just talked about, which means a lot of hours just sitting alone making music. And other struggles, I don't know, man. I mean, you know, you always struggle when you put something out and, you know, 500 people listen, or maybe even less, honestly, like 50, 10 people. And you're just like, damn, I've been doing this for a while. You know, that hurts. But like what we talked about, man, it's just keep going. And also the marketing piece, I struggle with that because like I'm not a social media guy. Like I got off of all of it. I don't really enjoy that, but I do like creating. So what my recent thing is, how do I turn like promotion into creativity where I enjoy it? And so I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know where you're at.
I mean, yeah, man, like that's one of those things. Like I've run some social medias for some stuff. I have, you know, like 3 different Instagram accounts for 3 different things. I was running one for our league. I was doing a lot of stuff like that. And, you know, that's an ever changing market where like that needle moves and somebody changes an algorithm and now you got to figure it out again. Yeah. And, you know, like the thing now is like, you're not on there, but Instagram does this thing where like reels, which is like a short video or like a video of some kind, is like the new popular thing. So like photographs don't get as much attention. Mm-hmm. So like if your reel goes viral, like I've had 3 reels go viral of Whoa. Like over 30,000 views. But then after that, you just like drop into a hole where like you don't get seen, and it lasts for like almost, I think I had to not use my account for like a month and a half before I finally started popping back up in people's feeds. Wow. And I was just like, why is this a thing, man? Like, how are you supposed to work with that? And, you know, so like trying to, exactly. Trying to navigate that world is terrible. But like, also, I mean, as far as books go, you know, trying to get, you know, a book in somebody's hand is a lot different than like, you know, I was trying to get people to say 3 chapters in, you know, if you can get past chapter 3, I guarantee you will not put my book down. It's, you know, a slow wind up, but once that pitch hits you, you are in for a ride. Yeah. And, you know, there's not a good way to do that except for, you know, face to face and talking with people. And, you know, I know for me, I wish I had more time to go to like Comic-Cons and things like that, but then COVID hit when I was planning it. So now, you know, I got to get back on that. I think that's one of those things that like, as an artist, I struggle with having the, you know, the confidence to put my work out there, but also, you know, the brunt behind it to make sure that all of the people that are reading it feel like they're a part of a world and not just like, hey man, like, can you please read my book? Sorry if I bothered you. And you know, that's always like kind of the nature of it where like,
I feel you. I always did best when other people were like doing the marketing for me. I mean, not like I was asking them to, but you know, they're like, hey, have you heard Spencer's song? You need to listen to this. And I'm like, thank you. That was great. And, you know, like that makes it a lot easier, but also, go ahead.
So like one of the things that gets me is like, you know, everybody listening, if you have a friend that does any kind of artwork or any kind of business or any kind of anything, support them. It takes 2 seconds to like a post. It takes 3 seconds to share a post with a good caption saying, my friend did this, please support them. And like, that is the most important thing that any artist can do. Yeah. There's nothing worse than falling into a hole because you feel like even my friends don't support me. Yeah. And if they don't support me, how am I going to get people outside of my circle to support me? So like legitimately anything that you do, it takes no effort whatsoever to just be like, hey, like and share, like and share, like and share. And at the end of the day, even if nobody likes your post that you shared, all you did was pump your friend up and make somebody feel like they got seen and they got somebody riding with them and, you know, ready to conquer the world.
For sure, man. Yeah, I feel that. Like, I like showing people's work, man. And if somebody tried really hard, I really enjoy like pumping them up, as we've talked about. But yeah, I've been helping my dad. He wrote a book and I've been helping him like trying to get that on Amazon and stuff and promote that. And, you know, that's been intriguing. That's a tough world, just like music, but it feels good whenever I don't know, just, like you said, pump up your friends, man, show what they got. And I think enjoy the creativity. I think the pandemic helped us I know people have talked about that a lot, but I think it helped us like appreciate the creative aspects in people around us. And if people are doing something cool, like that takes work, that takes dedication. Even if you're like, well, it kind of sucks, but you're like, damn, dude, you're hustling, you're in that garage tweaking on that thing, like, good job. Like, I'm proud of you. Keep going. You know, maybe you could make something like this. I'd be really into that. You know, like, just get involved a little bit. Give them a little bit of time, and it's gonna motivate them. Like you were talking about earlier. You know, just one word, one sentence, that might get 10 pages out. That might get a whole song out from somebody else. So you don't lose much of anything by just giving them a little bit of a boost. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's one of those things for me. Like, like I said, I do the social media thing, and I try and grind it out, and it's always such a like trade off where it's like, does this even matter? Like, I had a blog series that I was trying to do. It was going to be like a weekly episodic like blog post where it was a story and it was happening in real time in front of you, where every week you were getting a little bit of the story, a little bit of the story, and like it started out with like 9 people reading it, and then it was like 6 people reading it, and then it was like 2 people reading it, and then it was like 1 person read it. And I was like, man, I don't know why this isn't hitting, but like I guess I'm just gonna stop doing it, because like if nobody's reading it, is it maybe the story's bad? Maybe I need to step back. And like I think I need to just pick it back up and like go back to it. I still have the notes for it, and I know where the story was going. It was like a little love story where like star-crossed lovers kind of thing, where I think it would still hit, and I need to write it for me more than I need to write it for people to read. And that was a way of advertising my writing and pushing my craft and working on it every day, every week, trying to create a story. And then after I stopped doing that, I started working on 10 Hearts, which is the new book. And it's like I always have like more than one project going at a time. So I think I need to just go back and forth and try and bounce between the two to try and, keep, when one stalls out, I can jump on the other one. When the other stalls out, I can jump on the other one. I don't know how you feel about working on songs, if you do it at the same time, or if you can put yourself in that world, or you got to finish one before you can finish the other.
That's a great question, man. I go between two trains of thoughts. I go between, or schools of thought. I go between the like dedicate yourself fully to one road, like go. But I also love bouncing between, because I like keeping that flow, kind of what you talked about. Like if I'm beating my head against the wall trying to finish a song, but I can go write or paint or do something else creative, and I feel a good positive flow, like I'm going to come back to that song with a better energy. But also, sometimes you got to push through. So I don't, my philosophy is a little mixed there. But I enjoy going between creative things while maintaining my focus on what I know are kind of truly me, but I do think about this a lot. Like, what's the best way? I don't know if there is a best way. I think just be genuine with yourself. If you're making, if you were doing those blogs and you're like, I hate this, well, then don't do it, kind of thing. Like, but if you're like, I freaking like this, I don't really care if no people read this other than me, this is cool. Just keep doing it, man. Just keep doing it, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You really don't. And if you're having fun and you feel good about it, great. You're also honing your craft, dude. If you're writing all that, you're probably becoming a really good writer, and you don't notice it. So I don't know, follow your heart, try some things out. Like I tried, I got on YouTube and I was doing covers for no reason at all. And I was doing them in my bathroom, which was interesting, but it kind of looked cool. And like a couple of them caught on, dude. Like one of the artists found it, and like he was like commenting below. He was like, "This is amazing!" Like sharing it and like boosting me up. And I was like, "Okay, this is kind of cool." I don't like playing covers that much, but like it was a fun creative thing to do, and I felt good about it, and it challenged me. So I don't know, just keep your flow, man. I think that's it. Keep your flow going forward.
And that's one of those things, like, starting this podcast, that's kind of, a way to do that, where I want to give space for myself to feel like I'm contributing something. And like talking to all of you people that I've supported over the years is a good reminder of like, I serve a purpose. And one of the things that I always battle with is, like the mental health aspect of all of the creative space. And I think that, I get down on myself about, not being able to write or not being able to be successful in the ways that I want to be for that thing I'm trying to do. And I think that a lot of people out there that are in the creative space feel that. And, what I want to illustrate is that, like, people from different disciplines of creativity, people from different walks of life, people that live all over the world are, going through the same kind of thing. So if you're out there creating, if you're out there, trying to grind away at something, doesn't matter whether it's creative, doesn't matter whether it's your job, doesn't matter whether it's, like a goddamn OnlyFans. I don't care what you're working on, as long as you're out there and you know that, like, you're out there for you and you're being a solid person for you. At the end of the day, that's what matters. I know, like, everybody has like a pandemic story, and on a later podcast I'll probably get into it and explain kind of how the pandemic went for me and like why I changed so dramatically. But like, I know that I used to start a New Year's resolution, and I used to start with just a philosophy. And my philosophy, I think it was like 2014, was I want to start telling my friends I'm proud of them. And, we don't do that enough. And that grew into being able to tell complete strangers on the street, yo, man, like, I love your dress, or yo, man, that your shoes are freaking clean, or dude, thank you so much for holding that door, like, whatever it is. And I don't think I've had any one person turn around and be disappointed that they got that feedback. And that's all anybody's looking for, man, is like just somebody to stand over here and be like, I see you, I recognize you. And, as creatives, we need to probably step back from that a little bit more. I'm glad it sounds like you found a way to do that. I just got to get on that grind.
Yeah, man. First off, props to you for that New Year's goal, because that's truly important. I think, in my life in the past 3-4 years, I've realized how important it is to like sow into others. In my job, which I do have a job. That's fun. I get the opportunity to really do that a lot. And, but it makes a huge difference, and that's leadership, but it's also compassion and caring. And you just don't know what, like you said, you opening that door, saying something, nice, like, dang, dude, you did a really good job, whatever it may be, that might change somebody's life path, and people need to hear that. And you never know how much they need to hear that. And what's the worst case? That you're going to be this person who's really nice and kind to others. Like, it's not a big deal. I think being genuine too. And like, something I've really learned is just, kind of watching people, paying attention, learning them, the people in your life, the people at work, learning, what are they struggling with? What do you think they might be struggling with? Not because you're trying to like figure them out or find their weakness or anything like that, but like, see them a little bit, kind of what you talked about. Like, okay, I see that, maybe this is an area where you need some pumping up. You need somebody to like kind of pick you up. And it does not take much for me to be that, to be like, hey, you're doing a great job at your job. Like, honestly, every day you pour your heart out, you work hard. This person actually said this compliment about you. Like, they might go home and just appreciate that a lot. I've worked with somebody who has, a lot of anxiety, and they wanted to quit like a majillion times. And I was just like, no, you're not quitting. Sorry. You're going to keep doing this because you're good at it. You're going to keep doing it. Cause I saw that they had a heart for it, and I was just like, you're going to keep doing this, and that I had no idea. Part of it was cause I was like, oh my God, please don't quit. But part of it was also like, nah, man, I'm not giving up on this person. And that made a huge difference in their life, which I didn't really expect. But that's what you're talking about, is like and that's kind of what this podcast is too, which is really awesome, because I didn't know that coming in. So that's a really cool vibe. But it's like, yeah, man, you can do that. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. So why would you not want to be that influence in people's lives and see that network just kind of spider out,
One of the things for me, and this is another like Courtney plug your ears moment, but like Instagram model, she was like, man, I'm going to shut down this page. I feel so bad. I feel like nobody cares. I'm just out here doing this and, I'm not getting any recognition. I've been doing this, trying to get good modeling gigs, and it's not happening. And it was like, I go to work really early. So it was like, I don't know, maybe like 3:00 in the morning, where I was like scrolling Instagram before I work. And I was like, man, I'm gonna comment on this picture. And I was like, hey, so like, look at it this way, is, you might be posting these pictures that are, a little smutty, a little risque, but like at the same time, you might be somebody's like bright spot in their day. Like they look for your picture
Yeah.
and they live to like hit that, that like button. And, you may not know that somebody on the other side of the screen is supporting you in the best way they can, but like, you might mean more to some people than you realize. And she like reached out and messaged me and was like, that was like one of the most beautiful things anybody's ever said to me.
Wow.
And it made me feel so much better about my life and what I'm doing, because I never thought about the fact that like somebody might be paying attention to me in a way that like they see me as like a bright spot, or they see me as like an important thing that they want to see, and not just, a piece of, pretty thing on the internet. And I was just like, yeah, man, I just try and reframe it in the way that like made sense to me. Like, I didn't think you needed to be that down on yourself, but like shoulder shrug, whatever.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. I mean, yeah, those are those moments. Like, yeah, it's really important to look out for those in all of life. Like, it could be the person you order coffee from. So I definitely encourage anybody to do that, man. Like, if at the end of my life people were like, man, Spencer like pumped people up. Sorry, KENZI, whatever we're calling me. For everybody, my middle name is Mackenzie, so we're just gonna get it out there. But if everybody was like, Spencer pumped me up, I would be really happy with that at the end of my road. Like I want to pump people up. I want people to feel good about their life. We all have different levels. We all have different starting points, and what matters is that, like, having that support group. Kind of what we talked about, man. It's just like, in art, having that support, it gets you through the next day, and it pushes you to go a little bit further. And that's the same with life, dude. So good job on your goal, because you're definitely changing some people, and you might never know. That's the thing. If anybody's listening, you might literally never know, man. Opening the door for somebody is a really important thing. You might just never know if you make somebody's day.
That's what I'm saying, man. I know for me, one of the big things is like, I live by that. Like, if I do something nice for you, just to do something nice for you because I see it, or I show you compassion, or I show you a little bit of grace. Anybody that listens to this that I work with, unfortunately, sorry, yes, I use the word grace. I ask them to give grace a lot, where it just means, like, understand that person is coming from somewhere else and don't get mad about it. But like, it is what it is. If you're gonna, walk through the life of anger and clenched fists, like, yeah, man, it's gonna suck. But if you go through it with a little bit of compassion and looking at the world through a lens of like, what can I give back, what can I do, even if it's not a lot, like, man, I know some of the nicest people I've ever met have the least, and some of the meanest people I've ever met have the most. And it's like, you could do so much with what you got, whether it's emotionally, whether it's mentally, whether it's financially, whatever it is, you can do so much more than what you're doing. You're just choosing not to. And to me, like, I can't choose anything else but to be in people's corners, because I know what it's like to not have somebody in your corner.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And like, I know that you get that.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, that's what this is all about. It's great, man. We're, let's get some people pumped up. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. Pumped up. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. All right. Let's slide into some this or that.
All right.
So I got some this or that questions for you. You don't got to think about it too hard. Just hit me with what you feel. So writing or performing?
Oh, damn, dude, that's really hard. I'm going to say, I'm going to say performing, just because I love being in the studio, man, and some magic happens and you feel so good. But there's a difference whenever you're connected to people. And I know it seems, and maybe for some people it is, and maybe for everybody it is, a little bit of like ego, of course, because you're on stage and it feels good. But like, there's something about playing a song and people are enjoying it and they're captivated. And if they're singing along, that's a huge step too. But like, there's something about that moment that's very pure. It's not about like, ooh, people like me. It's not about that. It's like, man, I'm making something that connects me to these people, and I'm doing such a good job that their life has faded away for just a little while. That's like the most magical feeling, and your own life too, because you kind of hit the best feeling in the world for me is whenever you're playing and you aren't thinking about anything. nothing else in the whole world matters. You're just right there present. That presence is what I chase, man. So I would have to choose that.
All right. So we got singing or playing an instrument.
Oh, I was a guitar player first. Probably singing now, dude. I like singing. I like expressing, and I like the way it feels, and I like saying something.
All right. And then I'm shooting big for you because I see, you know, like sold out arenas, that kind of thing if you wanted it. And so we got playing in a low key spot or playing in a packed venue.
No, it's packed venue, man. But it's because of the energy that you get. But I'll also say I used to go to shows. I used to randomly walk into shows at the Bottleneck, which is one of my favorite venues in the world, on like a Tuesday night and just see who was playing. And some of the best shows I ever went to, there was like 2 people there. There's something like really magical about a band who showed up in the town they've never been to play for 2 people to make no money. Like, for you to be that one person, man, I remember those shows. Like I do. I remember those shows more than big shows. And that's a cool feeling. So if you ever go to a show and you're that person, man, like make their day, like have fun, ask questions, get to know them. Like you do not know, they might blow up or they may never go anywhere, but like it's going to be a memory. And I love that. But like a packed room, man, there's something really magical about a bunch of people getting together to listen to music. I think that's why we all go. But like 300, 500 people, whatever it may be, sitting in a room, and if they're listening to you, that's like the craziest feeling in the world, man. So yeah, I love that. I love that way more.
Yeah, it's good answers all around. I think that I know for me, like I said, my view of success isn't like making millions of dollars. Like, yeah, whatever, that'd be cool. But like for me, I would love to go to a panel where people are, you know, that have read my book are sitting there wanting to ask me questions about these characters, and, you know, seeing their energy and how they resonate with the character, or how they like felt this part of the story or they felt that part of the story. You know, there's an event that happens in the second book. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there's an event that happens in the second book, and everybody that read it before it was released like didn't talk to me for like 3 days because they were so devastated. And to me, like, I want to be mad, but like that means I did my job. That means I made you care so much about the situation that like you felt it to your core and it rocked you. That means that I did the best job I could do.
I love that.
And, you know, like I think that's kind of the same as playing in a packed venue, is like being able to talk to a group of people that like felt my writing and felt the characters and became attached to them and saw them, you know, as living, breathing things, not just, you know, a little, you know, quick read, which is what they are. Side note, they're quick reads. They're not designed to be super crazy. So if you don't like reading, my book is specifically for you. There's even pictures.
Amazon. Yeah. Yeah, man. I love that.
Yeah. So you don't do social media. So like if somebody wanted to find your music, where's the best place to find your music?
Yeah, well, any streaming service. I obviously know like Spotify and Apple are the main ones. So hit up Spotify and Apple and look for KENZI, KENZI. If you type it in all caps, it'll come up. You'll see my face in a cave. And I would love for you to reach out. You know, you can contact me through there somehow via email or whatever. It's like 1990 for me, I guess. Maybe I'll get back on, man. I took a break because it was nice. Like I didn't enjoy the world, and now I do miss friends and I miss people, but I wanted to come back to it with like an approach for me, I guess. So maybe you'll find me on there, but for now, get on Spotify, listen to my music. That'd be awesome. Buy Matt's book, come back, because we'll probably be talking again next time about writing. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's the thing, is like, that's how you know we're homies. Cause like I'm gonna plug you every chance I get, and you're gonna plug me every chance you get. And like, I think the amount of people I pitch your music to, the amount of people that I'm like, oh yeah, that's my homie. Or, you know, like I'm on social media, you're not, but like I put your music in my stories all the time.
That's awesome, man.
And I'm like, yo, I'm vibing to this song. Yo, I love this song. Like I put, you know, like I said, I picked your song for like my intro.
That's awesome, man.
The fact that the intro was able to be an instrumental and you had already released an instrumental for it, it was just like, yo. So the song is good. I love the song itself, but like the instrumental, it just like, it's good. And, you know, it's like every song you got, like, especially if you have subs in your car or you got a good sound system, his music that he's talking about, where the beats are hard, you know, they hit hard. I have a single 10, and I will tell you that with a single 10 subwoofer in my car, I beat real hard.
That's awesome, man.
Anybody that knows anything about subs knows that a 10 ain't that big, you know, like, so like if you just got like you little speakers in your car, you're probably still going to feel it. And, you know, lyrically, he's amazing. Lyrically, it's words that speak to you. Like I said, one of my favorite things is, you know, like, I could drive around the world if you with me. And like, that one sticks to my brain because of it, you know. And there's tons of other ones that like I could quote right now, but like, I'm not going to quote because you need to go listen.
I appreciate that, man. It's really cool. It's really cool to hear what you connect with too. So this has been awesome, man. It's really fun. And I hope some people listening just get motivated from this. This is the coolest podcast. I'm really stoked.
Yeah, good. I mean, like I said, man, that's one of those things where, like, for me, I don't care what you do, whether you go to the gym, whether you go to jog, whether you play table tennis, whether, you know, you skate, no matter what it is that you do, go do it with the full heart and know that like that's part of you. That's not just, you know, something you do. That is part of you. And, you know, like the biggest thing that like I think you should walk away with is, you know, picking up something. And like I say at the end of all of these, this is a class. So Mr. KENZI, Spencer, whatever we're going to call you today, did you learn anything today?
Oh yeah, man. I learned a ton, man. I learned, you know, it's just good. It's just good being in the room with you again and hearing how you're doing and learning kind of like, it's good to hear another artist have the same struggles and the same processes and the same motivations, you know. So if that's your outcome from this, that's great, man. You know, go find somebody else, have coffee with them and do the same thing we're doing right here.
And do it to his music in my book.
Yeah, you better buy that book right now. I'm serious. Get on there.
And stream that music. But yeah, man, thank you for popping on here. Thank you for talking to us. You know, I don't know how this one's going to come out. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a 2-parter because we talked for a lot longer, but I didn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
With, you know, a homie like you coming on here. And I'm really excited, really glad that I got the opportunity. This is another West Coast person, so it's late where I'm at. It's not late where he's at, but I will gladly stay up just because it gives me the opportunity to reconnect with somebody that I've always connected so well with. Like he said, I used to change his brakes.
Yeah, man.
So
he did.
I love the dude.
I got to drive. Thank God. Nah, I love it too, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
And he's still alive, which means I did a good job, right?
You did do a good job. Yeah, thank goodness, man.
The bell is about to ring. If you want to drop us a voice message or simply ask a question, you can do that by clicking the link in the show notes below. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find us. Theme music by KENZI. More music available on Spotify. Remember, every day is a class. Go learn something.